I am Bridget Lake, president of the Oviedo Winter Springs Regional Chamber of Commerce. Thank you so much and welcome to our college update with Seminole State College and University of Central Florida. This is our COVID-19 college update. As you know, everything has been a bit overwhelming with COVID-19, and we wanted to reach out and talk to Seminole State College. We have Dr. Lorenz. Thank you so much for joining us today.
My pleasure. Thank you for the invitation.
Of course, and we have Dr. Frame from University of Central Florida. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning, Bridget. Thanks for having us.
Thank you. So today we have the college update. I am Bridget Lake, president of the Oviedo Winter Springs Regional Chamber of Commerce. We are here as a business resource for you. Today is our COVID-19 college update, sponsored by Compassionate Cremations. Compassionate Cremations has been established through Banfield Funeral Homes and is opening its newest location in Oviedo this summer. Compassionate Cremations is a brand of Banfield Funeral Homes and has been family owned since 1989 by Greg Banfield and his son Corey. If you're interested in sponsoring any of our webinars, they are $100, a steal of a deal. Hope that you will join us. We have also some great resources on OviedoWinterSprings.org, our chamber website. And let me tell you, our COVID-19 dropdown doesn't just have the resources of ours, which talks about our webinars. They're recorded. If you want to go back to them talking about business resources or the CARES Act breakdown, or just yesterday, we had the legislative session wrap up by Gray Robinson. So many great resources and information given to you just here, sponsored by some great businesses. So please make sure that you go check them out, OviedoWinterSprings.org. We also have some great links. Some of them are Florida Chamber of Commerce. We're in constant contact with them, talking about what's going on with COVID-19. And if you have a business issue, this is why our chambers of commerce are here for you. So I hope that you're a member of one of your local chambers. You can actually go to our OviedoWinterSprings.org tab and click on the Florida Chamber link, and it'll send you to a page with a bunch of Q&A questions. Now, these Q&As are typical questions that every business has. But what's great about it is at the bottom of the page, you can put your own question in. If you have a business question, whether am I an essential business or anything regarding the PPP, and we've done webinars on these, but you know, we are here for you. We're here to support you. So make sure that you're utilizing our COVID-19 resources tab on OviedoWinterSprings.org. Let me not forget that we have some great upcoming events. So just so you know, today, awesome college update. Thank you guys so much for coming out. We have Seminole State College and UCF with us. But on Monday, we have Congresswoman Stephanie Murphy joining us. She will be talking about everything that she has been working on regarding COVID-19 and what she's pushing forth. I know that it's really important, especially for chambers of commerce, for us to be getting in the next stimulus package so that we can get the same support on the PPP program as other businesses have. We'll be talking about that. We have our board meeting, which you really probably don't want to be in that one. Don't worry, I got that one covered. And then we have our ambassadors meeting on Wednesday. We have Thursday, we have our hospital update. So we have Oviedo Medical Center, we have Advent Health, and we have Orlando Health coming in to talk about what is really going on with our hospitals and how they're handling this, because this is a really big deal, and we want to make sure that everything, we want to know, you know, I'm sure there's a lot of questions like, are there enough beds? Do they have enough protective equipment? These are all questions that will be answered for Thursday, April 16th. So make sure to register for all of ours coming up. And then on Friday, April 17th, we actually have the executive order discussion. This will be Alan Harris, who's actually with Seminole County, yes, and he'll be coming in. He does those updates twice a week. Make sure if you have any questions, he'll be on with us live. So register for our events, sponsor our events. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. Let us move on. And I would like to let everyone know that if you have a question today, type it in the chat box down there. You can go to the bottom of your screen, type in your question. I'll be getting to them throughout the event today. So I would like to thank and recognize and welcome everyone to our college update today with Seminole State College and University of Central Florida. We have Dr. Lorenz, began her tenure as the third president of Seminole State College on August 1st in 2018. She brings more than 20 years of experience in higher education to college and is eager to build on Seminole State's incredible legacy. Dr. Lorenz earned a PhD in educational policy, planning, and administration at USC, where she received a Delta Epsilon. Hold on, you're going to help me with that, Dr. Lorenz. Help me out with that.
Delta Epsilon.
Delta Epsilon Dissertation Award of Merit. She holds a Master's of Science in Education and Social Policy from Northwestern University and a Bachelor's of Arts in English from Stanford University. She has participated in community service to benefit foster youth and was a synchronized swimmer for 15 years. She and her husband Mike are engaging with Central Florida community and experience all that Florida has to offer. Thank you so much for joining us today, Dr. Georgia Lorenz.
Thank you.
And we have Dr. Adrian Otto Frame from University of Central Florida. Dr. Adrian Frame currently serves as the Associate Vice President and Dean of Students in the Division of Student Development and Enrollment Services. Originally from Boston, Massachusetts, we're going to find out if you have the accent to prove that one. She holds a bachelor's degree in psychology from Denison University in Granville, Ohio, a master's of education and counseling from University of New Hampshire in Durham, New Hampshire, and a doctorate in higher education from Florida State University in Tallahassee, Florida. Dr. Frame has been married for 21 years to her loving and supportive husband, Jim, and is the proud mother of two wonderful children, Madison, 17, and Tyler, 15. Thank you both for joining us. Thank you so much. How are you guys doing today?
Doing well.
Happy to be here.
So I want to just ask you, after reading your bios, I found it very interesting. Dr. Lorenz, you have some experience working with foster youth. My parents were foster parents, and they've had younger kids, like babies, to adults. I actually had a twin sister for a little while, which was awesome. How was that, dealing or working with them? It's got to be challenging. I know how I was as a youth.
Well, I've worked with now two nonprofit organizations that help foster youth make a transition to self-sustaining adulthood. The first is First Place for Youth, which is a national organization centered in Oakland, California. And the other is right here in Central Florida, The Village, which is part of the Empower organization. I'm on the board of each of those. And in each case, they really try to empower and enable youth, again, to make a transition to self-sustaining adulthood by giving them help with employment and education, as well as housing, and then independent living skills. And, you know, we talk a lot about the transition that, you know, any student makes when they enter college age or college itself, and how they need to sort of discover who they are and become more self-sufficient and choose a career path and prepare for that career path. But imagine how much more challenging that is for someone who has not had a family, a stable home life while they're growing up. Maybe a student who doesn't have any place to go home to for Christmas. So it fits very well with my life's work. And I became very interested in those challenges and began working with these two organizations. And of course, now more than ever, foster youth need our help and support. They're losing jobs. They're losing income stability. So it's another really vulnerable group that we need to keep in mind right now.
That is very interesting, especially because we have Dr. Frame here and she's been in psychology. So Dr. Frame, I almost feel like you guys would be best friends in a way. But I do want to ask you, with my mom once being a computer programmer and then getting her master's in social work, so then she, I would say, did have some moments where she brought her work home. You have two children. Do they ever feel like you're bringing work home with you?
Thanks for the question, Bridget. As Associate Vice President, Dean of Students at UCF, part of my responsibilities includes supporting students through difficult circumstances that may impact their ability to remain in school and remain in their academic pursuits. And that is everything from the kinds of things that Dr. Lorenz was already talking about, housing insecurity, food insecurity, family issues, trauma that's experienced either while they're a student or perhaps before they come. When a student, we deal with all kinds of student issues that come up, be that funding issues, finance problems. And so a lot of what I do to support students, what we do at UCF to support students, is to help them in those to help them through our continuum of care in addressing those out of classroom issues to help them stay focused on their academic pursuits. And a lot of those are very emotional things. So we as administrators are really focused on student success and building student success through our continuums of care, which we have fantastic options at UCF. And it's an emotional world. It's an emotional job. And so, yes, recently my daughter, who is 17 and will be heading off to college herself after her senior year next year, has said, Mom, you know, you always say how college is the best time of your life, but the things that you deal with are not very fun things often. Mm-hmm. They're really hard things and challenging things, and the students in those situations are often in tremendous pain and need a lot of support. And so that doesn't always jive well with the notion that it's the best time of your life. But she also has said that when she goes to college, she is hoping to be able to help other students realize the kinds of resources that are likely on their campuses so that they can tap into those resources and use them. She said, Mom, I hope that people know all of the ways that UCF and their institutions can support them outside of the classroom so that they can stay in school, like you say. So yes, I probably could do a better job of them not necessarily knowing that a student has passed away or that we may be dealing with some other student trauma. But hopefully, as a result of that, they've identified that there are myriad resources that students can call upon in those circumstances, and they just need to know to go ask.
Thank you. And I appreciate that. And I also want to, before we even get further into this, is just talk about how grateful we are for our teachers, our professors, our school administrators. I read posts sometimes, and it is quite humorous when you see a post put out there saying, dear teacher, you know, next year, if you want pencils, if you want paper, if you want magical dinosaurs, like if you want princess, like whatever you want, I will give it to you. If you want massages between grading papers, like it's interesting to see a lot of parents are now taking on that role, and a lot of them have been in that role and have always helped and tutored and helped their children through their education process. So we always know that the teachers have been a great hero, professors have been a great hero, and also parents have just been an amazing hero. So I think that everybody's feeling, I'm hoping that they're getting that emotional point of saying, I walk in your shoes now. I see what it's like. It's not as easy as we sometimes make it seem to be, because somebody may be great at their job and they make it look easy, but you know, there's crying inside that they need, you know, just the simple things. So I'm hoping that everyone is really starting to just relate to other people and understand each side of it. And thank you to all of you guys. And I'm not just speaking to people who are watching right now. I'm talking about all the teachers, all the professors. all those out there homeschooling, all those out there doing the work of teaching those younger generations to grow up and be a part of our society and, you know, learn the skills that are needed. So thank you guys so much. Now, we're going to jump into a Seminole State College video from Dr. Lorenz. So I'm going to let that move on right now. Thank you. So let's move into one of the questions that I really wanted to ask. So do you think that COVID-19 will transition schools into teaching more online?
Should I start with that one, or?
Yeah.
So I think that we're already seeing this happen. Obviously, Seminole State and UCF have transitioned to completely online for the remainder of the spring semester and for our summer sessions. And I anticipate that, you know, our distance ed program was large and really robust before all of this happened, which actually put us in a really great position to pivot to being 100% virtual. But I anticipate that this is something that students will get used to and will get really skilled at. So there may be more sustained demand for this as we move forward. It's interesting to note that before all of this started, about 53% of our students took an online class as part of their schedule. We had students taking a blend of both online and campus-based courses. So again, hopefully they had a lot of the skills and techniques that they needed to transition to online pretty easily. And with high schools now doing virtual instruction, again, they'll be building the skills and capacities to do this pretty easily. So we are poised to come out of this crisis with, you know, many, many options available for students, and have taken this opportunity to really strengthen our online programs, our systems, our resources, and certainly our faculty have engaged in a lot of professional development, are working with our e-learning department and working with each other to ensure a really high quality, robust experience for students.
Mm-hmm.
I would agree with everything that Dr. Lorenz just said. I think that the fact that our students, our high school students right now are going through this exact thing is simply strengthening those learning skills in the online environment. UCF has been in the online learning business and in the online class business for over 20 years. And so we too are well positioned to meet the unique challenges of this time. We had about 80% of our students actually at some point during their time take an online class, or maybe a blended class, a hybrid class that is partially online and partially face-to-face. And so we too had the skills ready to provide them through this unique kind of teaching medium. I do think that it has some interesting, it's been some interesting perspectives to put other services online as well. Things like counseling services, things like our food bank, in terms of asking for services through online means that have generally been provided in face-to-face environments. Those pieces have been ones that we've transitioned to quickly, and our students are used to being in online environments. So they did quite well with it. I think for some of our faculty that hadn't yet taught in that environment, we've stood up some fantastic resources for them through our Keep Teaching, Keep Learning websites to help folks get comfortable if they weren't already in teaching in the online environment. And as we look to summer and the offerings that we're providing for summer, we've really looked at what courses are best suited to the online environment versus ones that we had to quickly move online as a result of this transition for COVID-19, and really making sure those are the ones that we put up front to help our students be successful with this learning environment.
Yeah, it's definitely changed a lot. And I know that with Seminole State College, the one campus that we have in Oviedo, they have done a lot of their classes online. So some have changed a bit more than others, just depending on what you've already set in place. So it's interesting to see, and that's why I was wondering, like, how it will be and how people will change, and to see if this is has it been more compatible to students? Have the professors enjoyed it more? It's just an interesting, we were thrown into this situation, and now we're getting to see the outcome of it, whether we like it or not, and seeing what's being caused by it. Now, I tell everybody that there was this moment on March 12th that we had our last business after hours. We were sitting there and cutting the ribbon, Oviedo Pet Resort, all of us together. And next thing you know, I go home and I watch the news, and I had this moment of, oh my gosh, are they going to shut down the world? And that was the moment that it's all going to change. That was it's going to change moment in my head. So I have to ask you both, what was that moment? Where were you? What were you doing that you had this, what news did you get when you had it's all going to change moment?
Well, we had our spring break a little bit earlier than most. It was March 2nd through 6th. So we were monitoring the situation, the news that we were getting from China, and we came back to campus initially after our spring break, but during that week that we were back, it quickly changed, I believe, right around the date that you're stipulating. And so on March 15th, we decided, well, actually it was that Friday, we decided we would shut down the campuses, and we actually completely closed the week of March 16th through 22nd to give our faculty time to get their classes online, for us to get resources into their hands, for us to move all of our student support services online, the library, the Academic Success Center, all of those, and then reopen that following Monday. And it was a big effort, but it has turned out remarkably well, and I think it's going along very well. Actually, I was speaking to one of our advisors the other day, and she said that she feels like she's almost more productive right now because students are signing up for these electronic appointments, virtual appointments, and she's able to serve so many students back to back to back to back. So it's really been going very well, but I think it was probably right around that same date that you're identifying. And then when interim president Seymour called me and said, we've decided we're going all online, that was a bit of a turning point as well. Yeah,
the speed of this, the speed of the transitions have been amazing through this whole process. It has been one of the hallmarks of this crisis versus other kinds of crises that we often face in Central Florida, like hurricanes and things of that nature. For me, I was actually in a car on the way to the west coast of Florida. My father was visiting from New Hampshire and had his timeshare condo on the west side of Florida, and we were on the way over there for the weekend on March the 6th. It was 9 o'clock at night, and we were on the road, and my supervisor, the vice president for Student Development and Enrollment Services, called me and told me that we had a group of students that had returned from the APEC conference in Washington, which was a large conference, political conference that was held in DC, and that we had about 25, 30 students, I believe, that had been at that conference. And two of the attendees at that conference, which had over 15,000 attendees, had tested positive when they returned to New York. And we were trying to determine the level of risk that our students had as a result of having been there, working closely with our medical staff through Student Health Services to determine what we needed to do to help our students. Had they been exposed? To what extent? Was their health in jeopardy? And we were working closely at that point too. Our Student Health Services lead, Dr. Michael Dyken, was working closely with the CDC and with the health department in DC to identify, track the contacts that these folks had at the conference, and we determined that our students were not at risk, but we did reach out to each of them to give them the information that we had. And so that's when I realized that this was going to move very quickly. that our student, and we were preparing at that point, we were preparing for spring break. That was the week before UCF went on spring break. And all of our students were going to be elsewhere. And what were we going to do to be able to protect them, protect us from this sort of silent issue that wasn't necessarily easily seen, but certainly had tremendous impact possibilities. So from March 6th on, life has moved very, very quickly. Information has changed, and we have sprung to respond to it and support our students, faculty, and staff every step of the way.
So we are having, thank you, we are having a little bit of technical difficulty, as everybody does have during these Zoom meetings. So I wanted to, Dr. Lorenz, if you could just talk about the video that we were about to present in the beginning of this, and then we'll also have Dr. Frame talk about the UCF video, just because I know that we had this great presentation, and please forgive us as things do happen and we're just rolling with it.
I can totally appreciate that. We all encounter tech difficulties. Don't worry about it. I did 2 videos, one to students and one to faculty and staff. And I think you're probably going to show the one that I was doing for faculty and staff. And essentially, I just wanted to connect with them and let them see my face, but also really to thank them, to thank the faculty for working so hard and so quickly to get those classes online, the student affairs staff for, again, working so hard and so quickly to get all of our student support services online. And, you know, the real heroes of that week, I mean, everybody did a heroic effort, but our IT department equipped all of the faculty and staff who needed laptops and hotspots and all of the equipment that they needed to be able to work remotely. They equipped everyone within about 3 days. And our e-learning department posted workshop after workshop and worked individually with faculty, created teams to work together to help faculty get online. And it's not just getting online, it's to create effective, robust, high quality courses for our students as they expect from Seminole State College. So that's what that video was about.
Thank you. And I understand trying to quickly put together effective and robust material in a video, as we are trying to do that daily. And it's a challenge just to make sure that we have the quality content, the quality speakers, and to get the information that people want to hear. So again, I want to thank both of you guys for coming here and talking about what is going on with your campuses.
Our video was speaking more specifically to kind of encapsulate one of our resources that we are using to help support the community. Our Limitless Solutions group is famous and renowned for providing prosthetics to families and to children that need them, that have lost limbs in various ways. And our Limitless Solutions folks provide bionic arms and bionic extremities to kids that need it free of charge to their families. Limitless Solutions has pivoted in these times to help our community, first responders and medical community, by providing PPE to them. They are using those 3D printers that they use with their work with the prosthetics to provide a shield for the front of face masks and things of that nature in the medical community to help protect those folks. They also have, I want to make sure I have this right in my notes, each of those pieces that they are providing have a specific message on the front of them to provide additional support and some much needed thank yous to our medical professionals. So those visors, I think we're shipping about 1,600 of those visors shortly out to medical providers, and they have messages like hope, compassion, and thank you and love on them to remind our medical professionals how much we appreciate them. So that's one of the ways that UCF's Limitless Solutions is supporting our community folks.
Thank you both. I appreciate that. We actually had one of our trustee luncheons, and went to Limitless and checked them out when they first opened. So when I saw that post, I definitely liked it. It's very interesting. We just found out recently, yesterday, and Paul West, my team member, is getting more information about it, but we have a business that is a chamber member that is a smaller, less known one that is helping out in a way. So we'll be putting some information out about that. It is incredible how people are transforming into helping and really just reaching out and doing what they can. And I think that's been the message all around. I think when I've talked to people who are at home and not sure what to do, and they're of course everyone is concerned about their own jobs and supporting their family and their household. But one of the things I say, if you have some free time, take that time to give to a nonprofit that may be going through something. Whether it's just helping them promote on social media, it's not, not talking about an in contact thing. I'm saying, how can you from a distance help? And I think that not only mentally helps you get through a situation, but it also helps another partner in our community. And that's one of the most important things right now, is just supporting our community. So I thank both of you, because that is what you're doing, is you're out there supporting our community and doing everything that you can. And your professors and your teachers and all of that are just an incredible part of our amazing, I just talk about how amazing our community is. And it's really emotional when you think about how much good work goes through our community that so many don't see, because most people will not tell you what they do or what they've done or how they've helped, but they just do it out of the kindness of their heart, and they would never say it. But they're doing it. They're doing it, and they're doing it in such small little pockets that are adding up to this huge, amazing amount of love in our community. So I want to thank everyone out there for giving right now. I do want to focus back on the colleges. So Seminole State and UCF, with everything that's going on, do you still have students that are on your campus? And how are you helping them if you do have them still on your campus?
Should I start again? We have just a handful of students on our campus. Essentially, we have opened up a few computer labs for students who may not have the technology or Wi-Fi at home that they need to effectively do their coursework. So they can sign up online for 90-minute intervals to come into one of our labs. We only permit, 10 or fewer into these really large computer labs. So there's lots of space for social distancing. And then each of those stations is completely sanitized before the next person can come in to use them. And we have had some students taking us up on that. And it does seem to really be fulfilling a need. But other than that, the only people on our campus are really the security and custodial staff and a few key other people, because we're really trying to keep everybody safe and healthy, and unfortunately right now at a distance.
At UCF, we have about 500 students that remain in our residence halls. We did do some strong messaging to suggest that they, to depopulate our campus, to move as many of our students, help as many of our students find alternative places to live, that they could send them home or to another location where they could be other than the residence halls. But we do have about 500 students. Many of them are international students or students that are unable or don't have another place to be other than that residential community. Our resident staff is still very much involved with them and supporting them as we move forward. We do have our food bank, our food pantry. Our night's food pantry is functional and is providing 25 items per student who comes to see them. They can do that through an online system. And that is a very robust operation that does much more than canned food. They have baked goods, they have dairy, they have other things that they can provide that help students at this time. Our student care services operation is functional and providing wraparound services for students. Great way if the student's not sure exactly what kind of services we have our student care services operation is the best place to start. Anyone in our community who has a concern about one of our students or thinks one of our students could use some additional support or help, I encourage you to go to our Students of Concern or Student Care Services website and click on our Student of Concern reporting form. That gives you an opportunity to share with us the name of a student, the circumstances that you're aware of that they may be facing, and one of our staff, one of our folks will reach out specifically to that person individually, identify what their issues are, connect them with the myriad resources that we have so that students can get the assistance that they need. Our student health service remains open at this time. We are, and they are seeing patients and are definitely dealing also with the option of being able to test for COVID-19. We do have all of our other resources, student care, CAPS, counseling and psychological services, our academic supports, financial aid, admissions, all of those student success resources, advising, are all available in online mechanisms, as well as our Rec and Wellness Center is teaching classes for fitness online for students. So we really are not, our campus is not closed. Our campus has moved to remote instruction and remote delivery of services. I agree with Dr. Lorenz. There aren't as many people there. Our police, our health, and our resident staff continue to be in place. Many of us are working from home for safety reasons in order to combat this virus.
Bridget, can I add one little fun fact?
Yes.
So our student life department actually continues to have a thriving calendar of activities, and they're doing all of these virtual events. And our intramural staff has created virtual gaming tournaments, and they have hundreds of students attending the gaming, craft making, student government association meetings. And I met with one of the student government presidents the other morning, and she was sort of coaching me in the ways that the college could do a better job of taking advantage of social media and virtual events. So I learned a lot from her, and it's really exciting to know that our students are finding ways to continue to connect outside of the classroom.
And that's interesting. I remember when I was younger, I was dying for a driver's license, and now kids, if they can game, they just need to put their headset on and they're connected to all their friends and they're gaming with all their friends. And I'm like, why didn't we have this when I was a kid? I do want to talk about some of the messages that we are starting to receive in here. Kristen said, love the messages on the shields. She's talking about limitless, talking about, you know, going from creating the artificial arms to the face shields, and the positive messages on there are amazing also. We have a question from Gary saying, with state providing less share of money for all education and making individuals and companies and foundations responsible for college and university programs, at the same time, many at-risk college students have to work to support any chance to afford tuition and fees. What directions do you have to go to bridge the needs of students with the money that is needed for providing the education?
Well, for students themselves, it's important that they do file a FAFSA form, which is how you access federal financial aid, but then very often scholarships and other kinds of aid and support will require that a student have one of those forms on file. So that's a way, and students, as I said earlier, can update that form now. So if their circumstances have changed, there's been a loss of job for themselves or their family, they can update that and they may be eligible for more student aid than they were before. In terms of the Florida college system, we do continue to struggle to gain a greater proportion of state funding, but at this time we have no plans to raise our tuition and fees. And you know, we have to get creative and seek out potentially new revenue sources. And we do rely heavily upon our community partners and friends of the college to help fill those gaps for us. But we have been facing difficult budget times for quite a while in the Florida college system, and certainly that continues. Just as an example, the repair and maintenance money that we received historically without asking for it, it was just a formula that was calculated and given to us each year. all of that repair and maintenance money has been swept for the last 2 years. So we don't have the same resources to keep our buildings and operations and our technology infrastructure up to date and functioning well. And I know the universities face the same issue. So we continue to have budget challenges. And of course, this situation presents a whole new set of challenges for our students and our employees and our institutions.
I echo everything that Dr. Lorenz has just said. The state budgets continue to impact us, and we continue to try and respond by providing services to students at the rates that we can with the money that we are given. At UCF, we have great financial resources for students, again, through the FAFSAs, as she already mentioned, and 50% of our students graduate with no debt or significantly lower debt than the national averages. Our tuition is set by state statute, and it has not increased in some time. And so we do everything we can to help students, and then again, provide those wraparound services to students to help them be successful both inside and outside of the classroom. But the state budget circumstances are challenging, and we continue to look to our foundation to help raise additional funds for additional programming efforts that we have to help support our students moving forward.
And you know, Governor DeSantis, when he came into office, declared the Sail to 60 initiative, and that he wanted 60% of all adults to have a post-secondary credential of value, and for Florida to become #1 in workforce education. And certainly that cannot be achieved without our Florida college system and our university system being the best that it possibly can be. And I don't think that either of those goals should change. In fact, I think that they are more important now than ever. And the state college system is here to help people who have lost their jobs or been furloughed or know that they need to retrain in order to remain competitive in the workplace. And you know, we are open for business. We have support for students. So if you know of people out there who are looking for an opportunity like that, we are open access and ready to serve.
Thank you, ladies, so much. This has been an incredible presentation. I want to give you guys an opportunity. We're here with doing a COVID-19 update with our colleges. We have Seminole State College, we have Dr. Lorenz with Seminole State College, and Dr. Frame with University of Central Florida. I want to give them, because I haven't seen any last minute, oh, maybe I did get a last minute question. It did say FAFSA changes can be started here, and there is a link there for the studentaid.government apply for aid. That's for Seminole State College. And then there is a question, what is the outlook for programs requiring clinicals, such as nursing programs?
So that is really the biggest challenge for us to overcome. We have several workforce-oriented programs like our Fire Academy, our construction programs, and others, and then our health science programs like nursing that require students have to physically be present to do those clinicals or to learn how to put out fires, etc. Luckily, we've been working with our accrediting organizations, and we have gotten some flexibility in some of those programs to use simulation to a larger extent, depending on where a student is in the program. And the accrediting bodies have really stepped up and been working actively with the colleges. For something like the Fire Academy, just as an example, we've essentially suspended programs like that, and the students will get an incomplete grade this spring, and then as soon as we can get back to campus, even if we have to do it in groups smaller than 10, we will work with those students to get them through their programs as quickly as possible. We know that first responders and nurses and respiratory therapists are going to be in huge demand. They already were, and now it's going to be even, a stronger demand for those areas. So we're working with our accrediting bodies as well as, our faculty to do as much as we can now, and then as soon as possible, when we can get those students back on campus, we will expedite their completion of those programs.
Thank you. And I don't have a question, but there is a follow-up just talking about the videos. So when we post this, just so everyone does know, we will also be having the remarks able to download, because I know that there are links, but we'll also put a link to both the videos of UCF and Seminole State College there. We do apologize about the technical issues that we did have, but we will make sure that they're available for everyone on our website. UCF and Seminole State College are both friends of our chamber, supporters of the Oviedo Winter Springs Regional Chamber of Commerce. Thank you guys so much for being here today. Any last comments? Wrapping up, just wanted to say anything, because we definitely want to make sure that you guys are able to outreach to our community and let everyone know what you guys are thinking.
Well, I would just say summer enrollment is open now. Summer classes begin May 11th. Again, they will be all online. And so if you know of continuing students, please encourage them to keep up their momentum. You know, of new students or people who could really benefit from training or education right now, I would encourage them to go to our website, seminolestate.edu/summer, to learn more. And again, our advisors are available. Oh, there it is. To help people, you know, talk through what's next for them. And this is a really productive way to use your stay-at-home time. And the other thing, I know you've probably, I think you had a webinar with her already, but Amy Kirkland from our Center for Business Development, she and her team are working tirelessly with small businesses in our area to help them get access to the resources that are available now. And I want to applaud their hard work and their commitment, and want to be sure that everybody knows that that's a resource as well. And we're actually a subset of the Small Business Development Center at UCF, so I'm sure that they also have resources to offer.
Thank you, Dr. Lorenz. And Dr. Frame?
Sure, thank you so much for having us and including us on this important workshop today. I want to say that the well-being of our students, faculty, and staff has been paramount in all of our decision-making thus far at UCF, and will continue to guide our decisions moving forward. We too have provided a link to a website which has the most up-to-date information about our COVID-19 response and the operations of our campus, and how to get to important campus resources. As we said earlier, all of our summer courses have been moved to online, including Summer B, and so students are able to continue with their coursework while they safely socially distance at home, but with all the access to all of the myriad resources that we have on our campus through online means. And again, those websites that are up now on the screen are the best place to get the most updated information from our institution in terms of functionality. If you have a concern about student well-being, an individual student's well-being in any way, shape, or form, I really direct you also to our Student Care Services website and our Student of Concern link. That will really help us to make sure that we can reach out to individual students through this incredibly challenging time. Our faculty, staff, and students have responded so tremendously in this time of unique challenges. We've put over 5,000 courses that were originally taught in face-to-face environments into online learning environments, and our students continue to thrive through our support. Both Dr. Lorenz and I have the opportunity to work with very complex institutions that have lots of students. And what I think distinguishes our institutions together is the commitment to individual student learning and success. We each have fantastic resources available. If students will reach out, we will connect them with the right people, the right supports to help ensure that they are successful academically and outside of the classroom throughout their time with us. Thank you so much for including us.
Well said.
Yes, thank both of you. We had Dr. Lorenz with Seminole State College, and we had Dr. Frame with University of Central Florida. I am Bridget Lake, president of the Oviedo Winter Springs Regional Chamber of Commerce. You can get this video and other webinars that we have on our COVID-19 tab on OviedoWinterSprings.org. And you are correct, we did have our Business Resources 1 posted on April 1st. That is there already in case you have a business that has some questions. So thank you guys so much, and enjoy, have a great day, stay safe, social distancing. Have a good one.
Thank you.